Hello folks, how y'all doing? Fat Guy Flies RC here. We're going to do the build video now on the PC21 Pilatus by FMS. Did the unboxing video, now we'll do the assembly. Now I've reviewed the owner's manual many times and I've looked at many videos. There's a few out there of the assembly. And all it says, start with your tail feathers, or your horizontal stabilizer, or your espionage, or however you want to call it. However way you say that, the French term for that. So, to notice, the rudder servo is already been, rudder's already linked up. So, one thing I want to do before I start handling it around in that area, I'm going to get my servo tester here, wherever it is. And I know, yes, I do have the fancy Spectrum one. I just like using my old trusty one here. That's just me. Alright, let's identify our rudder servo, which would be this one here, because it's connected to the that there. Okay, so there's a Y for the front landing gear. That's one way to know. And channel 4, which was usually rudder anyways. So let's hook it up, and I undid the Y. And she looks like she's pretty darn close to being centered. Pretty close. What do y'all think? Well, she looks like she's off by just a touch. And so I know that that is centered. So, okay. Needs to go in just a touch, so let's screw it towards the inside there. Go back out there. How does that look now? Before I secure it with the... That looks almost perfect. So let's, one more time. One more time. I'm going to call that perfect right there. So slide the fuel line back up over it. We can hook this Y back up, which hooks it to the, remember, yellow to yellow, black to black. They connect in the correct sequence there, the correct way. Alright, let's go ahead and put the canopy, I'll leave the canopy off for now. Well, actually it says to put it in this way. So, now like a lot of these, the elevators key in together. So, therefore when it's together, the whole thing works together like that. So, undo it. Oh, as I drop both buttons, but I have the dropsies. Okay. Always work your foam hinge. You've got a nice laminated hinge in there. So that looks good. May want to eventually put some blender tape. That one's awfully stiff. You know what? Why don't I go ahead and do that? Let's go ahead and do the blender tape. I've got the wide blender tape, which is sometimes called hinge tape. So I don't always put it the full length, but what you do is you want to pressure it open as far as it'll go. And yes, it may not look all that beautiful. Put it on one side, get your nail down in there, okay, and then down there. Now, may not look all that beautiful, yes, but this is on the underside for one thing. But versus you losing a control surface in flight, I think I can put up with a little bit of not quite so pretty. You know, I'll put safety over looks every day, all the time. So as far as you can get it, get your nail down in there like that. Okay. I love this paint. This paint on this model is superb. Absolutely superb. pulled that blender and tape up a little bit, didn't even pull the paint off of it. So now I've got some peace of mind there on the elevator. Because I will tell you one thing, of all the control surfaces you have, the elevator would be the one I would not want to lose. That is for certain. I would not want to lose an elevator. And so that's like one of your primary controls is your elevator. All right, so on the underside, bend it out as far as it'll go. Attach it just to the one side. Get your nail down in there and fold it over. There you go. That makes for a nice peace of mind connection there. Well worth the look, the loss of prettiness. Right, so anyways, when I have that wide tape like this, I choose to do it on either end. No, I didn't do a really good job there, but that's okay. That's okay. After a while, I won't even notice it's there. And now I've got peace of mind. Now back to the actual build. Pay attention to where your control surface or your control rod is. Okay, so it's on that side. So obviously I'm going to put this side over there. I'm going to go ahead and try to fish my spar in there. Let's turn this up on its side. Now I've noticed in some of the videos that you may have to compress these tabs. All right, having some issues. So but as I have these issues, you'll discover them with me. Fish that through there a few times. Try both directions. There you go. Now, there again, we know this side, this side. So go ahead and put that through until you feel it stop. Press that down. Now, this channel on both sides may seem a real tight fit, so you may have to kind of compress with your finger, foam a little bit to get that to go in there, and that's okay. That is okie dokie. You can do that by just smashing it just a little bit along the leading edge there. Okay, and that will help make it fit right in there, pretty as you please. Now, let's go ahead. You're going to take these very small black, and there's only 4 of them, only ones you got like this, little black Phillips head screws, self-tapping screws, and they go ahead and secure in. I noticed that my tail on this end isn't all the way in, so maybe that may just be how it looks. So let's hope that's just how it looks. Okay. And the beauty, people say, well, I'd rather, glue things in. Okay, well, when you break that part of the model and you have to replace that part, well, now you wish you hadn't glued it. So, but sometimes you don't have much of a choice. Well, let's just use a longer one maybe. Nope, 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 nope. One that's got a little more. Something you want to do, so sometimes when you're going in, compressing in like this, you want to put your finger on the other side just to support the foam, support the plastic pieces. You know, now look at this, folks. Something interesting here with this model. Look down the line there. This doesn't go in all the way. That's unusual. And there's nothing there to keep that from doing that. Remember, kind of squeeze your foam here. And this will make the joining of that a lot easier. At least it should anyways. Well, I didn't squeeze it enough apparently. Okay. And she's wanting to be a bear. But there again, this is the one complaint that I've heard about this model is how this fits in so tight it's almost impossible. So let's hope that is okay. All right. You know, there's nothing that says you can't take it out, reposition, start over. Okay, we know those are lined up, right? Huh. Now that side went right in. Went right in nice and flush, but this side did not. So you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to, see, we know that that's connected, right? I'll go ahead and screw in this side and take the other side back off. The directions didn't call for any one side starting more than the other. Now, when you're going to a plastic fitting or foam fitting like that, well, plastic fittings, just go down to where you feel it nice and snug, where it's almost tight, and then back off about half a turn. Because you got to remember, that foam is going to expand on its own as it heats up and stuff. And so if you back off just a touch, then that's great, because then it kind of seals itself in there. All right. Nice and tight, and then back off just a touch. Now let's go over here. Now I'm going to turn around here, and I know this is not where you can see it as well. I'm going to move the model this way just a touch. And I want to take this side back off again. See if I can't get it to fit in there just a little bit better. Because that shouldn't, that's not right. That ain't right. That ain't right. That is not right. So, anyways, while I'm doing that, let me tell you a real quick, cute little joke that's safe and you can tell it to anybody. Kindergartner lives with his grandfather, right? Okay? Well, he's got about his second or third week of kindergarten. Come on, buddy. And comes home. Grandpa says, "Son, how was your day at school?" Kindergarten says, "Grandpa, here's a trick. Grandpa, I want to tell you something. I'm just sick to death at school. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick, sick, sick." He goes, "Well, why is that, son?" He said, "All they ever talk about is sex." And he said, "Hold on, boy. You're going to have got some explaining to do now. What do you mean all they talk about is sex? You're in the kindergarten." Well, he says to the grandpa, he says, "Well, come on, Grandpa. You've been around, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sex." Well, anyways. But done. Right. All right, let's see if we can't get that. Make sure there's nothing in that channel that's keeping that from receiving this side of the horizontal stabilizer. Shouldn't be. Yeah, I may just have to live with that, because looks like it may have gone in just a touch more, but not as far as it should. But this is a man-made thing, so it's not going to be perfect every time. Certainly not going to come off. Okay, make sure I backed off half a turn there. Okay, I did. All right, put this one back in there. We know we got the elevator keyed in, because if I can grab one side and the other side works, well then there you go. We know it's keyed in correctly. Now I can remember a lot of the old park zone planes, when you'd slide a tail in like this, horizontal stabilizer, okay, tight, half, you had to put tape along there. That's the only thing that held it on. Cheesy. Okay, see? That side got a good working tail. Now, let's make sure. This is a step that you can do either after the model's put together, or you can do it after, whenever you want to. But it doesn't really matter when you do it. Just as long as you do it before you do the final assembly, before you hook everything up. This is just making sure that my servo is centered. Now, Rich, RC Informer, said put it on the outermost, if I remember right, the outermost one here and the innermost hole on the control horn. In other words, your control rod you're going to hook up closest to the servo as you can get it. Because as he said, as he put it, it's a really big elevator. Doesn't need that much throw. But of course so I'm going to have to put the next one up. The hole on mine is too small. So, this is why you want to keep yourself a rotary tool. Makes for real quick work of holes and control arms that aren't big enough. Wasn't that quick and easy? Boy, that was an arduous task. Now let's see how that fits in there now. Oh boy, looky there, it works perfectly. Except I got to put it in correctly. Okay, and then we're going to put it on the furthest out hole. Slide the, and look at that, that's just about, that's not very much throw. But I'm going to trust Rich at RC Informer because he knows a lot better about these things than I do and is far more experienced than I am. But since we got the plane upside down, guess what? Folks, it's wing time. It is time to put on the wing. Now, everything's already hooked up in the wing, so I'm going to use that famous last words, assume that all the servos or everything are centered, because the factory's already got everything hooked up. So let's just go ahead and run with that. Okay? Okay. Now, I've got this quick connect board, and quick connect board is not secured, not glued down. So let's just take a little look. Take a look at the manual. Imagine that with the directions. Let's just see what it says about that, if it even shows that. Tail, just like I did. Hey, look, I did right. No. Install the wing, remove the canopy hatch, guide the molded connector wires through the hole located in the bottom of the fuselage as shown. Align the wing with the fuselage, secure in position with those four screws. So, does not say anything about it being attached, detached, floating freely, leaving on a bus. Doesn't say anything about it. So, hopefully I have enough room, which I'm not going to have enough room. So, this is where I'm going to have to be very careful. Yes, that's not the right way the wing goes. So, be very carefully going to undo the servo or the zip tie they have on there. Going to hit the plane above me again, fish everything, including the quick connect, through there. Hopefully everything is. You can go up there and hit your fingers and you can grab everything and pull all that through. And that way you know you're not going to have anything pinched or out of whack. Kind of look up in there best you can. Well, looks like it's all feeding in there good. Okay. All right. There's a fly in here. A fly in a room with other things that fly. Imagine that. Huh. Model doesn't really align all that well. Huh. That's unusual. I think we've had a situation where you've had some heat get to it. Now you get an extra, these screws, you get some extra ones, looks like. This is probably going to be a 2 millimeter, yep, hex drive. Just going to put them down in there like that. Yeah, like I say, you got 4 of them. Hold the wing on. And just like when you put lug nuts on a car, you want to rotate or alternate how you tighten them down. Oh, that's falling right into place. Nice and tight, and have to turn it off. And this is what I mean. Here, 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 and here. You're going to crisscross. Come on, you can do it. There we go. All right. Tighten. Back off half a turn. Basically, when you see that foam start to end in, you got it. That's far enough. Now, how that looks good right there. Let's flip her back over. Keep hitting the plane above me. I've got a nice join line along there. Very little gap. A little tighter on this side than it is on that side, but we're okay with that. And basically, outside of installing my receiver, that pretty much is done. Let's take a look at this. That goes right there. There you go. There's your Pilatus. That just keys in there. Well, I tell you what, everything on this model is tight. All right, that goes there like that. White is going to be out towards you, so it's only going to go one way. Tighten up your nut. Tighten up your nut. Okay. See if I can look at that. Now, just to let you know, I've already balanced that prop and it came perfectly balanced from the factory. And of course, I wonder why this other nut was right there. And you got one extra. So let's go ahead real quick, make sure everything works correctly, which I'm sure it will. All right, that is a good looking bird. So what I'm going to do is we're going to flip it over, okay? We're going to identify the different parts. The different parts is parts is parts. Okay. Flap is here. Let me get my servo tester wherever I ran off of it at. Okay. We can go ahead and turn the plane over. And what I'm going to do, see everything's hanging down now. I'm going to sit down so I can see what I'm doing. All right, channel aileron. Okay, so let's hook that up. Look at that. Aileron works great. Hooked up. This isn't all that of a necessary step, but it is fun. Okay, channel 5 is gear. Now, I remember I've got a Y for that. So, it goes with the rudder. Okay. Black to black, or in this case, dark to dark. Okay. And rudder, channel 5, gear. So that should be okay. So I don't have the front gear hooked up yet. So let's see. All right, let's make sure the flaps work. I'll iron all this out here. Hey, nice big flaps. All right, now here's the throttle, and how you do that is instead of you take your hook up to your electronic speed controller with your battery, and then you take your servo tester and you hook it up to that. Here at arm. Yep. Feel that wind. All right, so we know that the throttle works, and yes, I know you got to hook from the radio. Okay. All right, we got to just figure out this rudder, this gear thing. Flap, gear. Okay. So I've got to Y in. Why, man? Okay, so that goes to the gear there. Okay, and this rudder goes in. This actually just goes to the rudder channel is what that does. elevator, rudder, rudder. Okay, and that's gear. So I'm confused now. All right. So I've got to tie in my gear with the other gear. So elevator, rudder, rudder, and rudder. Okay, so we got the two rudders there. That's fine and dandy. But the gear's got to be tied in there somehow. So have to figure that one out, folks. Yep. See. Yeah, it's like that one's trying to work. I can hear it. Huh. That's weird. Okay, folks. Well, I'll have to iron that out. But anyways, there's the build. And I'm going to put a Lemon RX stability receiver in it. Not a safe that has a bailout or an auto level, but just a A3X or A3X's gyro receiver in it. Lemon RX, which I'm a big fan of them. And that's it, folks. While I iron out the landing gear issue, figure out what's going on with that. I probably just don't have my Ys hooked up right, which is no big deal. Thank you for watching. This is Fat Guy Flies RC. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless y'all. Real quick update, folks. I figured out the gear. See? You need to add a Y. If they don't give you a Y, you've got to Y in. Why, man? Why? You got to Y in your gear from your wings, from your front gear. Put them on a Y to your gear channel. Just to let you know. So if you don't have a Y, there wasn't one, or I missed it in the unboxing, but there wasn't one, but you're going to need one. So there you go. That's a little update. Okay, update number 2. I was wrong. They do provide the Y for the flap or for the gear, and you do not need to provide a Y. It is provided for you. I just didn't see it coming off the quick connect, so I was wrong. No Y is needed. Everything is provided. Update number 2. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless. Hopefully that's the last update. Thank y'all.